On the 13th of March, 1997, a young man exited his home in Henderson, Nevada at roughly 6:55 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On his way to meet some friends, there was nothing out of the ordinary, until, that is, he witnessed a giant V-shaped object passing over his home. Estimating the object to be the size of a Boeing 747, it was reportedly traveling in a northwest to southeast direction, making a sound like rushing wind. He couldn't believe what he had witnessed and wondered if anyone else had seen this huge craft pass overhead. He didn't have to wonder long. So begins the story of the Phoenix Lights. Less than 30 minutes later, a former police officer from Paulden, Arizona, roughly 300 miles away, witnessed a giant triangular craft passing towards Phoenix as he drove down the freeway. Taken aback by what he had witnessed, he immediately turned around and returned home to observe the craft by way of binoculars as it continued along its path towards Phoenix. A few minutes later, the craft had reached the Prescott Valley area, and this time was witnessed by hundreds of people as it continued on its journey. Locals in Prescott claimed to have confirmation that the craft was solid, as they recalled the starry sky being obscured by the outline of the giant black craft as it passed overhead. One of the clearest Prescott sightings came from Devin Lorenz and his aunt Jamie, who were standing outside on their porch in the Prescott Valley when they noticed a cluster of lights. They claimed the lights on the craft were all a dim red colour, apart from one distinctly white light at the nose of the ship. They observed it for a few minutes before it passed over them and banked sharply before disappearing in the direction of its destination. It was 8:30 Mountain Standard Time by the time the craft was first spotted in Phoenix. Thousands of Phoenix residents witnessed the lights as they slowly passed over the city. Police switchboards lit up as resident after resident reported these strange lights, some looking for answers, assuming some kind of military exercise was being carried out, while others feared some kind of invasion. But almost all agreed it was a giant black craft which appeared to look like a carpenter's square. 15 minutes later, as quickly as it had come, the craft left the Phoenix area. The last confirmed sighting of the object was a young man on his way to Las Vegas. Upon seeing the craft, he pulled over immediately on the freeway in order to use a payphone to report the strange lights in the northern sky before they disappeared forever. Shortly after the lights, Arizona Governor Fife Symington III was compelled to hold a press conference due to the sheer amount of sightings in the Phoenix area. He started the press conference by stating that they had found who was responsible, only to bring out a man dressed in a UFO costume. Despite at the time making fun of the incident and claiming it was mass hysteria over nothing more than some military flares, years later, Symington, an ex-Air Force pilot himself, claimed that he in fact did see the lights in Phoenix that night and did not believe them to be military flares, instead believing it to be some kind of alien craft. Prior to the press conference, Symington had reached out to the military for some form of explanation, but having been given no response, he decided to make light of the incident rather than face the terrifying idea of it being a UFO, as he felt this would have the most calming effect on the residents of Phoenix. The Phoenix Lights is one of the largest UFO sightings ever recorded, and one of the few to include ample video and photographic evidence. To this day, the Phoenix Lights remains unexplained. If you enjoyed this story and would like to hear two friends make light of it, please check out our podcast, Unexplained Legends, available wherever you listen to podcasts.